more options. I'm going to get this out of the way and say I like Star Trek Discovery. I understand a lot of purists find it awful, and I know more than one friend who seems to dislike it in huge part because they find CBS All Access difficult to use, but I'm enjoying it so far. In particular, I like how this show is addressing how Starfleet's utopian message stands up on the front lines of a war. Exploring the vast reaches of space with a message of peace is great, but how does that mission statement hold up when confronted with the brutality of total war? How do men and women change under such circumstances? What compromises are made in the pursuit of victory? These are fascinating concepts, and they've always played out in a rather clinical way on Star Trek. Because we've always watched Star Trek from the pomp of a morally strong, almost perfectly noble captain or commander. The dirty work of war is usually done by side characters or guest stars or garrulous species on the other side of the view screen. Star Trek has usually been able to assume the moral high ground, but not on Star Trek Discovery. Case in point, the USS Discovery's Captain Gabriel Lorca. Give CBS, we only met Jason Isaacs' new character last night, but already in the space of an episode he seems to be everything we've been taught a Starfleet captain should and be. He's more than a bit of a hawk and seems obsessed with winning the war against the Klingons by any means necessary. He's exhibited a capacity to be sneaky, tricky, and a bit seductive. He is potentially the most dangerous captain to get pushed into focus in a Star Trek series to date, and maybe the most fascinating. It's not like Star Trek captains are a traditionally staid bunch. Captain James Tiberius Kirk bounded through his way through the galaxy with a mix of schoolboy gusto and an almost pirate-like avarice for adventure. He was, along with his overly analytical first officer best friend, Spock, a kind of 60s space adventure Jack Aubrey. He was a man without malice, but not to be trifled with. Though Picard could be stern with his crew and himself, he, too, was a child in the face of sheer adventure and a moral philosopher to the core. Sisko, Janeway, and even Archer, these leaders, these Star Trek protagonists, always had the best interests of their crews, and the civilians who crossed their paths, at heart. They joined Starfleet for the glory of exploration, and entered conflicts as a tragic last resort. And so far, that's not who Captain Lorca is. The very first shot we get of Captain Lorca is in his ready room. The lights are dramatically dimmed, and his eyes are focused on the swirls of space outside his window. He wryly tells Michael Burnham's Aqua Martin Green that the lighting is due to a recent battle injury that affects his eyes. I like to think it makes me mysterious, he says in a southern tinged purr. The rest of the conversation is almost playful. We learn that his family once had a business manufacturing fortune cookies back when hunger, need, and want were issues. Those issues are making a comeback, he jests. As the episode goes on, Burnham realizes that the Discovery might call itself a science vessel, but its missions are top secret, and full of importance in the war against the Klingons. Lorca has carte blanche to fight the war as he sees fit, and he wants Burnham, the woman who started the whole mess when she bent the rules a bit too much, to be on his team. He seems charming and in command, and therefore similar to the captains we've known before, but by the episode's end, it's clear he has a more nefarious plan in mind. Masterminding Burnham's transfer aside, he's got his hands in some kind of ultra-dangerous biological weapons project. It's like the Manhattan Project, but with face-melting, space monster consequences. Give CBS, what we have here seems to be more than a traditional Starfleet captain at war, but a military captain who's had to settle for Starfleet. That little anecdote about his family business only underscored how Lorca probably sees himself as a man suited for the old ways of doing things, that is, he's a man of our times launched into the world of Star Trek. I've seen some people ask why Star Trek Discovery was slotted as a prequel to the original series. For me, its placement on the timeline is telling. This is a story not only about Starfleet officers pushed to the brink, but Starfleet officers who haven't yet mastered the art of being part of a cultural utopia. This show might actually show us the last internal battle between being a member of a pre-Federation human civilization and being full and enlightened. Lorca's story could shift in upcoming episodes, but it looks like he's being positioned as a more militant Kirk. It's not that he's at home in a fray, but that's the place Lorca truly comes alive. By season's end, will Lorca's character be positioned as a hero or a villain? He may be the captain, but it's still unclear whether or not he'll be able to save the day. New episodes of Star Trek Discovery premiere on CBS All Access on Sundays at 8:30 p.m. ET. Stream Star Trek Discovery on CBS All Access. CBS All Access. Jason Isaacs Star Trek Discovery.